I think this is an important question, and I just remind you that I'm 15 years, 1-5, with this condition, 15 years since my turbinectomy surgery, and this affected my sleep like big time, but also physically. And this physically, that's why I put in the title intellectual and physical work job. So basically I'm trying to give you just my perspective, my experience, how you deal with ENS and keep having a job, right? Both either intellectual job, I did work as engineer, but I also kept regular physical jobs. And I just want to point out for the physical part, I also have issues with kidneys, lungs, dehydration, constipation, you name it. So this takes a toll physically, but remember, it depends if you sleep well, if you are able to rest well, but my guess is people with ENS are no longer able to rest well at night, and they also have issues during the daytime. So this lack of sleep quality and maybe even sleeping hours takes a toll both on your body and on your brain, but I think it takes first, in the first years after the ENS condition, it will just impact your mental ability, mental memories, concentration, and so all this to say that I'll just give you my experience after the first years with ENS. I just started losing the power to concentrate mentally and also just to work intellectually. I was an engineer at the moment when I had this surgery, and I just didn't have this mental strength to continue that engineering work. I'm not saying it didn't start necessarily right away, but you may expect that, so let's say from the moment when you get this surgery and you start having empty nose syndromes, you may expect that, I would say, within 5 years to start losing your abilities if you are doing an intellectual work. And I referred engineering, but it could be anything intellectual, right? You need to, this is kind of a work field where you have to use your brain, concentrate, memorize, remember things. It could be anything that requires all these attributes or any of these attributes. After 5 years, I would expect the condition, mental condition, to degrade even more. And I would say 10 years into this, but obviously it's going to depend from person to person, but 10 years after surgery that gives you ENS, I would expect a person to have serious difficulties performing an intellectual work job, regular job, right? So this is for the intellectual kind of job, profession. And also I want to say that it does impact the memory as well. So you may simply start forgetting things very within seconds, basically. So you want to do something and maybe you do something else in the meanwhile, and then you forget completely what you wanted to do before, just not even 1 minute before. Now for the physical part, physical job, again, this may be just my experience. I don't know how this happens to other people with empty nose syndromes. But after my engineering, after I quit engineering, actually I tried to do a second degree, a shorter degree, technical job if you want. And I just could not. I did study 2 years. This was about 8 years. I did quit the engineering, I don't remember exactly. But this second degree, I did it around 8 years with ENS, 8 years after surgery. And I did study. I was performing pretty well during the studies, actually. But when I went to practice, I could not remember the things that I had to study, right? So I had to memorize. Just my memory just no longer helped me within months or 1-2 years after learning those things. So I had to give up too. So this is just, again, let's pass now to the physical job. I did develop, and I explained this in videos, I did develop a problem with, on top of the dryness of nostril, also blockage, and a lot of sleeping problems and very, very poor sleep quality. I did develop issues with lungs, kidneys, and other things. And I believe this package also drained my physical strength. Now, this is, I'm just putting this in a video. I'm not saying this, this is not a study on 1,000 people with ENS. It's just my condition. And also, it's difficult to really, I mean, basically you need to believe me. It's difficult to say, oh yes, it happened to you, this thing, so it's normal, you lose physical strength. I don't think it's that obvious to understand or to accept this thing. But this is how I feel, and I can tell you I did perform physical jobs up to maybe 10, 12 years with ENS. So after that engineering, that second degree, I had to do physical jobs. Not just physical, my first, I call this physical, basic jobs were in the service industry and restoration. So I had to stand and for 8 hours a day. But then I took really physical jobs in the warehouse and stuff like this. And I have to say something that I could feel some good physical strength up to maybe 8 to 10 years with ENS. I could stand 8 hours and work something up to that point, and then I believe it did degrade. Now I have to point that at about that moment when my physical strength started to degrade, it was the COVID epidemic. And I got COVID, not during the epidemic, but 1 year later. But maybe, I don't know, I did took vaccines. Then I've learned that some people get affected from vaccines. Kidneys in some people get affected from vaccines. I will never know what actually caused my kidney problems. Maybe it was ENS, maybe it was the vaccines, maybe it was COVID, maybe all this together. So I'm just telling you exactly the things. But from past COVID, if you want, so this is about 12 years into ENS, I just started to lose my physical strength. And what I mean by this is not just, maybe it's with age, I don't know, maybe you lose some strength to lift things, heavy things, or to move around heavy things. But I just started no longer being able to stand hours in a day, really just stand at a job, or just, I don't know, maybe having a trip somewhere, just, doing hiking or something like this. So this happened mostly in the past years. I would just wildly say from 4 years ago or so, and it got worse, but hopefully it's stabilized at this point. But I can just give you an idea. So I do volunteer at one place, and this is just because it helps me, just have an occupation basically. But also I took this volunteering thing as a test. So I wanted to test myself if I can still stand 8 hours on a day, do something. And I just, I'll tell you that I've taken one day, I did volunteer, was some sort of light work for about 6 hours in the day. I was exhausted. So the body just can no longer, in a very unusual, unexpected way, it no longer has the strength that I had maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. And this, what's annoying in this is that it's really even just standing. And I can tell you, like I said, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I had no problem whatsoever standing for 8, 10, 12 hours a day doing something. That was no issue for me whatsoever. But now it's totally gone. And So I'm just giving this as, I would say, most like an example of the things that I can no longer physically do. But obviously, if you are going to, let's say, work in a manufacturer or something, do a physical job, and you cannot even stand for maybe 6 hours, and 6 hours during 1 or 2 days, just imagine, it's absolutely impossible to work anything unless you do something, maybe a part-time, couple of hours a day, 2, 3, if you can find such a job. So this really takes away literally the physical strength to work a normal job. I'm about to say this is terrifying. I think I'm no longer. So there are things that I didn't say in my videos, right? Because I just want to kind of not share everything. But this is terrifying. This is terrifying. It's truly is like a disability that it's actually not visible. And if maybe in your area you have the government can give you physical disability or something like this, and a support, a financial support. If you try to obtain such financial support from the government, how do you show this? It's impossible. You cannot show it. Nobody will believe you. You need to, here in Canada, you need to go through doctors. So you need to meet a doctor and explain, and not convince, but just show that doctor that you are no longer physically able to hold a job. So how does that doctor believe you? I have no idea. No idea. I can tell you in Canada, they're pretty suspicious already, not just with these conditions, but with anything. When you come with a medical issue to doctors in Canada, I've seen it more than once. They kind of, for some reason, they think it's not true or whatever. That's just perhaps a local mentality. Anyhow, so this is like a disability, and I don't know. I don't even know what attributes to put to this. It's frustrating. It's just like I describe it, and I'll give you another example. So this is just I try to explain to you what I mean by losing physical strength. I'll give you an example. I like to maintain or repair, just among other things, old sewing machines. Old sewing machines, it's not related with the subject of the video. So these old sewing machines oftentimes are heavy items, so weight about 15 pounds or so. And it's strange that I feel at some days I can lift the same sewing machine, which is pretty hefty, pretty heavy. I can lift it fairly easily. It feels almost not really a heavy object. And other days I just cannot lift it. I just feel like, whoa, this weight's kind of a ton or something like this. So it may also, this physical strength, this is muscular strength. It may also fluctuate, and I have no idea. I have a suspicion why, but it's so I don't know. You need to, you need to accept this basically. So why is this physical endurance or strength happening? I try to explain a few possible causes, like I said, but I think other factors, I would just try to sum it up, what may be related to ENS. It's the lack of sleep also. So sleep means the body has to regenerate, and when it regenerates, the body is not just your brain cells, I'm not sure how it works, but also the organs, the muscles, also all these have to regenerate. Even your heart, it's affected if you don't, it's affected in the long term if you don't sleep properly. So I'm guessing after 10-15 years of really bad, I was going to say disgusting sleep quality, the body takes a toll at some point, I guess. But also it may be related in my situation with this kidney problem, or from what I've seen on internet, kidney disease or kidney problems can cause you weakness, body weakness. It's not, I would say, this loss of body strength does not necessarily feel like weak. I'm weak. I just fall on the floor or something like this. It's not like that unless I really try to stand for many, many hours. It's just that I no longer have the ability, physical ability to, like I said, stand many hours or perform a physical job for many hours. So yes, I was saying about the kidneys, but it could be also other things. These are purely theories, right? I'm just thinking what could be, and I have no proof or something like this. I'm just throwing this hypothesis out there. The fact that I dehydrate, and when I I get dehydrated. This I explained this in another film. It's actually blood that gets lost. So possibly there is a loss of blood volume through lungs, which start losing humidity. Also, this problem with constipation. I'm not really sure about this, but it feels to me that when I get more constipated, I have even less physical strength. I'm not sure why it's happening like this. Possibly because constipation means literally the body does not absorb properly the nutrients from the food. So basically you are eating, but the body doesn't really get the food for the energy and so on, proteins and so on. So constipation may also search on Google. Basically, these are things that you can search easily. Does constipation, long-term constipation, severe constipation cause body weakness? And you may find an answer. Also, I was trying to think of something. Yes, so also you notice that in my video I explained about the diet that I follow. So this obviously is going to give my body less food, right? Less protein. I'm guessing in the long term it does affect things. At this point I got used to this diet, so it's less food and also much less items, less variety. I'm not really hungry except a few times, sometimes in the evening, but I'm guessing in the long term, if you don't eat like the normal amount of food and also maybe normal proteins and so on, carbohydrates, glucids, your body will get weaker. But it's impossible for me to determine which of these factors or parameters are the ones that affect the most. Or, it may be a combination of all this which affects body strength in the long term. And by the way, when I say body strength, I gave this example of not being able to stand for maybe 6-8 hours for 1-2 days. But imagine a job is not 2 days a week or 2 days a month, right? A job for me, at least, it's 5 days or I don't know, maybe 6 days a week or so. So when you think physical strength and that's needed to perform a physical job, you need to imagine it's about 200, 300 days or more, 300 something days a year, right? So imagine if you cannot work, let's say, for 2 full days, how do you perform not just 1 year of job or work, but more, several years or so, 10, 20. So yes, again, I'm just sharing this. I don't want to worry anyone in the long term. People I know watch these videos and maybe some will wonder, oh, what's going to happen to me in 20 years or so if you have ENS. But I think it's worth being aware that this may happen. And like I said in another video, I think it's important as much as is possible to plan financially the future, your future. I think it's part of this illness, this condition, to be what's the name? Just to forecast what's going to happen in your next 20, 30, 40 years, depends on your age also. Okay, so if you have comments or experience, just let us know, and maybe watch my other videos on my channel. Maybe go on my channel and just check the playlist on ENS condition. Thanks for watching.